Still watching Rapid Done right here on Rapid Television. Of course, right now it's time for the big conversation. And my name is Victor. Okay.
My name is Martha Alu. Good morning to you. It's so good to be back at right in the studio for the 9 o'clock conversation. Of course, it's a big conversation where we get to spotlight the issues that are making waves in our country's political system, particularly for this morning.
And of course, today we turn our attention to the ongoing crisis within the People's Democratic Party, of course, the PDP. Hours after the Court of Appeal in Abuja upheld a federal high court ruling restraining the Independent National Electoral Commission from recognizing the outcome of the PDP's national convention held in Ibadan, Oyo State. The Tanimu Turaki-led National Working Committee has announced plans to take the matter to the Supreme Court. The Court of Appeal also upheld the suspension of Kamadin Ajibade SAN and other top party officials. Despite this, the PDP's National Publicity Secretary, Ini Ememobong, insists that the convention is strictly an internal party affair. Meanwhile, the camp of FCT Minister Nyesom Wike is calling for party unity ahead of the rescheduled convention for March 29th and 30th, 2026. Earlier, PDP Governor Sad endorsed the Ibadan Convention of November 15th, 2025, which elected Turaki and his team for a 4-year term. With us today is a PDP chieftain who will share insight on the party's next steps, the legal battle, and the impact on Nigeria's political landscape. Our guest is Mazi Nnamdi Dickson Iroegbu. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you very much.
Good morning to you.
Thank you, Mazi, for joining us today.
Thank you. And good morning to the viewers.
We're very excited to hear what you have to say, because the last time we had you here talking about PDP and the crises that are within the party, it was such an interesting conversation. So we look to an even better one this morning.
Thank you.
And I recall you came with the Constitution as well that very day. The last time we had the conversation.
Sadly, he couldn't even use it.
He didn't use it that day. You know? Of course, you were in court yesterday as well.
Yes, I was.
And I would recall that when our producer was having a conversation with you, we saw a picture of you in court. You know, and yesterday, the Court of Appeal, upheld that a convention that held in 2025, is not recognized. What do you have to make of that?
Well, again, thank you, and it's another opportunity to engage and expand the environment in a manner that democracy is allowed to thrive, and that is what PDP stands for. And that's why I'm proudly, no matter the crisis that the party is facing, I'm a proud member of the People's Democratic Party. Not because, one needed to join a political party, but simply because of what PDP stands for. One, PDP is a legacy party, as we all will agree, having taken over from the military in 1999 and held sway for 16 years, helped nurture democracy, and eventually, of course, also coordinated an election that brought in the then opposition. So PDP cannot be jettisoned or treated like just every other political party, including the current ruling party, cannot compare with PDP when it comes to structure and what we stand for.
Structure.
If you're talking about structure
that's
right
very
now,
questionable.
Yeah, structure has to do with the people, because it depends if your policies and programs or your ideology or vision is embraced by the people and they hold on to. If you go to every community in Nigeria, you'll see 1 or 2 members of PDP in every family.
I mean, if you look at the structure now, before we even get you to answer the question that we asked earlier on, currently, first of all, the APC has 31 states. Every other party shared within 5 states.
Means. 31 states is 31 governors,
okay,
which is 31 votes.
Going on structure as well. Currently, the PDP has various factions.
There is no faction in PDP.
Come on, you have the Nyesom Wike block.
No, Nyesom Wike is not even a member of PDP.
Okay, so before we
so we need to get it, situate the issue.
Before we even get into all of those, first of all, the rulings, during the convention, a leadership structure was set during that convention, which the court has now invalidated, right? And now there's the part, whether we like it or not, there's the fraction of the PDP that is loyal to Nyesom Wike, right? And indications of the fact that we have a lot of PDP governors time and again coming out to say that we do not trust the structure of the party, and so we would be defecting from our party into other parties, says a lot about the internal crisis that happened within the PDP. But the question is, this ruling that has now been made by the court, does it invalidate the leadership structure that was set up during the Ibadan convention. I think it was in November.
Yeah. November 15th to 16th.
Exactly, 2025. That does it now simply pause the recognition of the leadership that was set aside by the people present during that convention? Because again, remember that the aggrieved party, which of course would be the Anyanwu bloc, Anyanwu and Turaki bloc, have now said that they would go to the apex court to contest that ruling in court.
No, so first off, correction, Anyanwu is the people loyal to Nyesom Wike.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
So the Turaki was produced at the Ibadan convention,
yes.
And that is the real PDP. Because clearly, the constitution of our party gave us the template to follow, you know, to hold on, for us to hold a convention, and that template was followed. It was at the NEC 101 that the convention was, a convention date was announced, and venue announced, and INEC was present. And then, of course, 21 days notification, according to the Electoral Act, you know, all of that was well exhausted. And so as far as we're concerned, the PDP convention that held in Ibadan is the PDP. And of course, you know that the conscience of the party, which is the Board of Trustees, also were part of that process. That people went to court, a group of people who have clearly publicly announced that they were going to destabilize the People's Democratic Party so that to give advantage or an edge to the reunion political party, the APC, and all of that, it's not what should now make us feel that our leadership has been invalidated. Yes, court.
But the court signifies the highest system of authority.
But that's we're going to the Supreme Court now. Okay. So, and before we took the position we took, the Supreme Court had ruled that leadership issues of political parties are an internal party affair. Okay. And so we're holding on to that. So that the appellate court yesterday now said, oh, that the process that brought about the convention in Ibadan and all of that was not is not to be recognized, and so jettisoned it and dismissed the Ibadan convention. Well, like I said, we're going to the Supreme Court already, but something significant happened there yesterday. One, while that they dismissed the convention that brought Taminu Turaki SAN, they also upheld the suspension, because that's important, the suspension of Sam Anyanwu group, you know, and all that. So first, what it now means is that the leadership vacuum will have to be filled by the conscience of the party, which is the BOT, the Board of Trustees, ought to take over the party and then possibly set up the true caretaker committee that will run the affairs of the party while we are at the Supreme Court. But the point is that, yes, at the NWC, before the convention, at the NWC meeting, the Anyanwu group were suspended. Haven't been suspended, and also upheld, that suspension upheld at the appellate court. So all the shenanigans that they have been exhibiting doesn't stand anymore. Like they are planned for, we call it convention. That's not a convention, because you can't place, the lawyers will say that you can't place something on nothing. So if you were suspended,
it's not a convention, what would you call that?
Hold on. If you were suspended, your group were suspended.
But there's a caretaker committee.
No, there's not. There's not. Hold on now. 4 of them were suspended by the NWC, then led by Damagun. Okay. Right? There were 18 members in that NWC. That's the National Working Committee. Out of the 18, 13 sat and suspended 4. The National Secretary, the National Legal Advisor, the National Organizing Secretary, and the Deputy National Legal Advisor. 4 of them were suspended. Okay. So and after their suspension, 4 of them met. Okay. Now, how that became a quorum, because of it can only happen in a place like our country. Because how 4 people would say that from 18 that 4 people formed a quorum, to now, after their suspension, to now say, oh, that they have also suspended the chairman of the party, then that is Ambassador Ilya Damagun and all of that. Then the same 4 group of them are the people that Nyesom Wike have enabled to form what you now call a caretaker committee. But like I said, all of why they were dancing to the gallery, dancing the shameful dance and all of that, yesterday at the appellate court, I don't know why that one is not being highlighted. Their suspension was upheld, which now invalidates everything they are doing. You understand?
So you think the ball is now in the court of the fraction that was now, how will I say?
There's no faction. I have said that. There's no faction.
That's what you think, but the public opinion is, of course,
no, right? Even family members go to court when they disagree on issues. That doesn't mean there is faction.
That's my issue. There's zero to no admittance of the problem that is within
we know what our problem is. But I think the media is also not helping. The problem of the PDP is that there are a group of people who said that they are going to stay in the PDP to support another political party. That's what the issue is.
The court that is the highest symbol of authority has now upheld that faction.
No.
Do you now want to
Did you hear me? Were you in court? I was in court.
You were in court. Of course, we followed the proceedings. They have said they will go to the apex court.
In fact, the upholding of their suspension was the first ruling.
Of course.
So why are you not emphasizing that? Why are you talking about just...
the major issue that led the PDP to
we went to court. We went to court. The Turaki went to court to
the major issue for that was not the suspension. The major reason you went to court was because of the faction, the convention, and whatever chaos is going on within the party that you do not like to call.
We went to court to challenge the Federal High Court ruling that stopped the convention.
Yes.
That stopped the convention. So we went to court appealing that very Federal High Court ruling. That's why we went to court.
Okay.
That getting to court, all issues around that led to that very Federal High Court judgment was brought up. One of it was the suspension. For instance, why did the issue of suspension of Ajibade, that is the former legal advisor, why was it upheld? Ajibade came to court that day to disrupt the court processes and saying that he also appealed because that our counsel was not supposed to be, because according to the constitution of the PDP, that the legal advisor is the only one empowered to represent the party or someone else he so chooses to nominate to represent the party. Okay. So, and court said no. At the time you were even coming for this, you were on suspension. Okay. And that suspension subsists. That's what we're saying. So, since that suspension still is upheld by the appellate court, everything that they were doing is invalidated. That's the point I'm making. And that is the reason why we're going to go into Supreme Court, because those parts are not being highlighted. Okay. Like I said, it's as important as it is, and that is why our Lord Justices, upheld that suspension. It was the first judgment they gave, that suspension is upheld, before they now went to the main issue, which had to do with appealing against the Federal High Court judgment, which they said, no, you didn't follow the processes of the law and all of that. According to the Supreme Court, we said, no, the Supreme Court has already ruled that leadership of a political party is an internal affair of the political party. That's what the Supreme, and that's the apex court in the land. But so should I be listening to a Federal High Court or appellate court when the Supreme Court has ruled?
Again, the appeal court, you've mentioned the Supreme Court ruling. Yes. However, the appeal court also unanimously agreed or found that the issues were not merely internal crises, but they were matters, breaches of the Nigerian Constitution and the Electoral Act, basically. And these were some of the, correct me if I'm wrong, you were in court yesterday.
I was in court.
We had these things highlighted there in court yesterday. We are there highlighted in
the
court
main one that was highlighted, one of the cases, is the one involving the former governor of Jigawa State, who came on the last day of submission of expression of interest form for that convention, came that day to purchase his own expression of interest. So and we now said, hold on, sir. The rules were set up. And when we were going for the convention, there was a schedule, right? And timeline for so and so to be done. There was a schedule for you to come buy the form, and then also the last day of submission. He didn't purchase the form until the last day to submit, not even to buy, to submit the forms. That was the day he came to buy his own form. And the forms were not available for him and all of it. So he went to court and got a judgment. Of course, what the justices highlighted is that you cannot disenfranchise any Nigerian.
Okay.
But I wonder where they have been when Nigerians daily have been disenfranchised in Nigeria. For instance, look at the, what's it called, the council election that held here in the FCT. Hold on, sir. Let me make this point. Let me make this point.
We'll get there.
Let me make this point.
All right.
You know, we saw the FCT minister, you know, announce a curfew, a draconian curfew that stopped people from coming out to vote. That was clearly disenfranchising Nigerians.
Did he announce the curfew to stop people to vote?
But that's what it was. And now the lowest turnout of voters in Nigeria since election, since 1999, is the last council election.
That's
less than 7%.
That's wrong, because it moved from 9% to about 12 to 15%.
So that
all of the area council elections. So that's wrong, because the last elections for 2022,
I mean,
we can do exactly. We can do the analysis right now. The last elections for area council elections for 2022 was about 9% of people who came out to vote from the registered voters.
You see,
but in 2026, because if we are saying that the worst turnout of people for the elections, it should be based on data. And the data following the press release also by INEC says that the number had increased from that 9% to about 12 to 15%, which shows that, of course, we are not exactly where we need to be, but there was some level of progress. So just so we don't keep dilly-dallying around the issue. Now, I'll take from the court upheld an earlier Federal High Court ruling that stops the Independent National Electoral Commission from recognizing the convention that produced the Turaki and other officials during the November convention for the PDP. Now, according to the court, they said that the convention breached the electoral laws, one of which is they failed to give the 21 days mandatory notice that was supposed to be given. That was supposed to be given to INEC, but that's what was said.
No, but that's false.
Okay, so they did not also.
21 days notification was given to INEC, and the documents are. If you Google it now, you can throw it off.
Also, they did not.
14 states.
Sorry.
Did you also go to the 14 states that's also being
the congresses in the 14 states?
Yes. Was he heard?
No, hold on.
Was he heard, sir?
Hold on.
Let's not break
You're not. I'm not in the court of law. No, hold on, please. You're analyzing the judgment of the appeal court, which we have said we have found faults in it, and we're going to the Supreme Court. So these questions you're asking will rather be answered at the Supreme Court.
Okay,
but the angles...
wait, Mr. Mazi, if you are refusing the judgment, because, of course, we are journalists, we will also take you from what the court has decided. Because, again, we recognize the court as the highest standard of authority. I've been emphasizing that throughout this morning. We cannot decide to go outside of what the court
The highest standard of authority is the Supreme Court.
Wait, that's the
Supreme Court.
No, the court. As I'm not talking about the Supreme or the Apex Court. The judicial system in general.
Once there is room for you to appeal a case, you can't be discussing highest. There's still room for me to, correct whatever I see as wrong at the appellate level. So you can't be telling me it's the highest until the Supreme Court rules. That's when you can talk about the highest.
I'm not contesting the fact that the highest. I'm talking about the judicial system in general.
Yes.
This is the highest system of points of justice in Nigeria.
No, that's the only point. You can only go to.
Only point.
If you don't go to court, that means you're resorting to violence or anarchy or self-help. And court is the place to go and correct whatever or demand for certain things that are not right.
Because I understand that you're going to the court, right?
To the Supreme Court.
To the Supreme Court. But you have also gone to a court, the appellate court. And what I'm saying right now is that the appellate court, the judicial court, the Apex Court, the appellate court, these are all symbols of justice in the judicial system. You go there to get justice.
Yes.
So the ruling comes from there. Whether you contest it or not, the court has decided what the court has decided. And we can now make reference to something other than that when you go to the Apex Court. And the Supreme Court has made a decision. But we will have the conversation about the working committee, about the convention, and the PDP,
that's what we're here.
Depending on what the court has ruled right now. We cannot have a conversation projecting what the Supreme Court will say. We are having the conversation based now on what the appellate court
I am the one that went to court. Listen, my sister,
I
went to court to find redress, right, on an issue.
Okay.
And now you are citing what the court said, that I didn't follow the processes, that should be followed. One of it is that they referred to the congresses that were not held.
Okay.
That was why those who went to court went to court.
Okay.
Because at the Federal High Court, those who went to court saying, no, you cannot continue with this convention because congresses in these states have not been done and all of that.
Absolutely.
Fine. They have done that bit. And they have gotten whatever judgment they got at the High Court.
Okay.
And then we went to appeal court, and appeal court upheld their argument.
Okay.
Right? And we have said we're going to the Supreme Court to uphold our own side of the argument. Then you referred to, cited one of the claims that
21 days mandatory notice.
Yes, 21 days. But that's not true because, one, like I cited, 101 NEC of PDP was where the date for the convention was announced.
Okay.
The 101 NEC. NEC is the highest organ of the party after the convention. Convention is the highest.
Okay.
But NEC, after the NWC, you go to NEC. So NEC met, NEC 101 met, and at that 101 NEC, INEC was there. Date was announced. And then 21 days notification to INEC was properly communicated. The then chairman of INEC was Yakubu Mahmood. That was the chairman that received the 21. It's there. Right. The records are there. So it's not for us to argue about. The facts are available for you to Google and find out whether what I'm saying is true or not.
Is this a fundamentally legal crisis now from your point of view? Because you have said the INEC is now saying that you did not give... the court is now saying that you did not give the 21 days mandatory notice, while you have claimed that you actually gave that notice and the materials are online.
Not a claim. The facts, INEC is a public institution that you can, as journalists,
the question is that is this a fundamentally legal crisis now, or is it really a political power struggle?
That was why, in fact, I just left one of your sister stations, and I sat with one of the one of the people who were suspended, the former deputy legal advisor of the party, and he was talking about all angles. You see, the point is that there were contradictory angles to the judgment. I was in court, and the first one that was read, like I said, that was upheld is the suspension of Ajibade, the former national legal advisor, and others. Then they now ruled why the convention should not be recognized and all that. Fine. But that same convention, at the ruling yesterday, that same convention that they didn't recognize, in one of their rulings that involved the former national chairman of the party, Ilia Damagun, they referred to that convention, that he resigned at the same convention that they said they didn't recognize. So you see the contradiction. Then the expert he just quoted that, 21 days notification notice to INEC was not done. No, but that's not true. So that is why you agree with us that there were certain fundamental angles that needed to be, corrected at the Supreme Court from that ruling yesterday. Okay. That's the point I'm making, because if you say you don't recognize the convention in one breath, and then you also now, in one of your judgments, now referring to the resignation of the former national chairman at the same convention that you didn't recognize. Okay. So there's something wrong. There's something wrong. And then, like I said to you, just so that we don't focus on the convention, the suspension of the group that are now carrying themselves as the caretaker committee of the PDP it also needs to be highlighted, because the judgment also gave in that direction that your suspension is well upheld. Okay. So if it was well upheld, everything that you're now doing or you have done in that process of your suspension does not exist.
Mazi, so you have said let's not dwell on the convention alone.
Yes, so because there were two judgments that you needed to uphold,
we were also going to,
which had to do with the convention and the suspension.
We were also going to head there. Of course, we needed to put the basics of the rulings of the court.
The one that affects me is what you're holding on.
But no,
are you working for this?
We're definitely going.
It's about the PDP.
It's about the PDP.
And we've asked you earlier on if the PDP has faction. What was the answer?
I said there's no faction in PDP.
Faction. So we're talking about
the PDP. The ones being created by you guys.
No, we didn't create a faction.
No, because so you mean the court also created the factions from the rulings? The court also created the factions.
It's an open secret that Nigeria has appeared to become more like a huge crime scene. All sorts of illegality thrives here. So we're not surprised that a man, the FCT minister, who has been publicly seen building houses for judges, building all sorts and mingling with them. It's not, you won't be finding me wrong if I say that some people could have been compromised. And that is why we're saying, if in one breath you're saying you don't recognize the convention, and in another breath you're referring to an event that happened in the convention, there is something wrong.
Let's not go there.
There's something wrong.
When he said compromise, some people would have been compromised.
But there is compromise.
Yeah.
There are compromised judges everywhere. We have, for instance, we did an open letter to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court to say, Oga, why is it that every case that involves the PDP, there are 3 justices you send the case to. One of them is Omotosho, who always grants them what they want. So for us, as far as I'm concerned, we have made public our case. We have accused.
You think yesterday's ruling was a product of a compromised court?
Product of a compromised environment, not just court. The Nigerian system is compromised. That is why we have the level of illegality we're having in the environment. That is why all sorts are happening in our country.
Okay, Mazi, the next question I want to ask is about what now becomes of the internal leadership of PDP, because you have made mention of the fact that this faction, the court says, you don't like to call it that.
Group of aliens that are said to be members of PDP. They are not members of PDP.
Okay,
because you know, sorry, sir.
Mazi, hold on. Let's not. So we don't keep marolling.
There's something I wanted to say. Just like on this platform, right? You can't be working with Rapid Television and be working with CNN at the same time. Can you? Can you be part of 2 organizations at the same time? Except, of course, it's a private venture that you have gotten yourself involved in. You cannot be a member of the PDP and be a member of APC at the same time.
My issue is that you people.
That is the aberration in our system.
You would have suspended him from the ministry.
I just told you that the court upheld the suspension and you're still querying it.
Just ask your question again now.
You didn't suspend him.
Suspend who? Yes, on Wike.
You didn't suspend him.
We have expelled him from our party. I stated here that he's not even a member of our party.
You expelled him after the matter had been escalated.
No. See,
you didn't expel him at the point
when
he was giving that appointment as the FCT
Very good. You're not a member of PDP. The constitution of PDP gives powers only to the convention to expel anybody.
Okay.
Not NEC, not NWC. They don't have such constitutional powers. Only the convention. That's why I said to you, the highest arm of the party is the convention. After the convention, the only place you can go to is God. So it was at that convention. That's why they did everything to stop the convention from holding. You know why they went to the Federal High Court was to stop the convention from holding. We insisted that that convention must hold because we couldn't continue with the illegality that they were upholding. And then at that convention, we did what you are asking for now. We sacked them. 11 of them were expelled from the party. Yenson Wike, Sam Anyanwu, all the rest of them were expelled from the party. So what do you want the party to do more?
All right, Mazi, just on to the thought. We are going to get deeper in this conversation, but let's quickly go on a break. When we'll come back, we'll continue the conversation with Mazi Nnamdi Dickson Iroegbu, a PDP chieftain. Do stay with us. Once again, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you. I've been drilled.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're having a conversation.
Proudly PDP.
We just want clarity on
it. We're happy for you.
Proudly PDP. And maybe you'll join us one of these days.
Perhaps.
It's your right. It's constitutionally allowed that you identify with a political party.
Definitely.
It's not a crime.
Let's go.
Anyway, talking about the nullification again of the convention that happened or that held in November.
You're still talking about the nullification of this convention.
We're going somewhere.
What about the suspension of those people who...
Hold on.
We're going somewhere, right? Talking about that nullification, right? And the suspension. Nice balance. You're happy, right?
Yeah,
good.
It'll be balanced.
First of all, do recall again that a fee was given to your faction.
Yes. 2 million each.
2 million naira
about
each.
4 times.
I agree that now you didn't drag that there was no faction. You agree 2 million naira each given.
No, we went to court.
Exactly.
So
and they still charge you to pay a fine.
Yeah, fine. 2 million.
Anybody can charge you. Yeah, anybody can accuse you of anything.
Also, okay. Now again, our next timetable is coming up.
Yeah.
I think that should be in April 23rd and May 30th, 2026.
Yeah. Primaries would have been concluded.
Primaries should have been concluded. And the PDP is still in court, fighting and battling with your internal crisis. What strategies do you have to ensure that the PDP will be on the ballot? First, again, even more direct, will the PDP be having the primaries in 2026?
Of course, PDP will be on the ballot.
Okay.
And, you know, just like nobody gave PDP a chance for this just concluded council election in FCT, nobody heard of PDP. Nobody believed that we were going to be on the ballot. And of course, after the ruling political party, the only platform that got other elected offices is the PDP. So PDP will be on the ballot. However, it's unfortunate that we're going through this crisis. Okay. And that is why if you observe, right, beyond your job that you're doing, observe the body language of the so-called group that call themselves PDP members. What are their activities like? What are they, how are they excited about the feelings of the party they say they are members of? If you are excited about your house collapsing, then you have to probably look at it again, whether this person is a member of that house. So those groups are those who have been planted or who have planted themselves in the party, insisting that they are going to stay in PDP and work for another political party. And we said no. That's why I said to you there's no faction. Because before the action we took, PDP was being referred to as an appendage of the APC because of this crop of people. And so while we were struggling to extricate ourselves from it, we now said, okay, and this is the reason why those congresses in those states didn't hold. Those states were states they held sway in. And those groups, we know them. And we couldn't empower them to come and disrupt or continue to disrupt the PDP. So we ignored or twisted them and rescued the party and made sure that convention held. Because Nyesom Wike and his group have made it public that they are going to work for the re-election of Tinubu. And we said no, that we are going to present an alternative. And listen, if not for this whole distractions that we're faced with, PDP had already, for one, zoned its ticket to southern Nigeria. For you to know we're serious. Okay. We had zoned our ticket to southern Nigeria. And then not just have we zoned our ticket to southern Nigeria, at the time before the convention, we were already narrowed to 2 possible presidential aspirants. We had in mind, or on the table, former President Goodluck Jonathan, and the former governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Obi. These 2 people were already being considered on the table of PDP. So these people know what the plot was. And PDP, being that it is the only political party that has the structure that can give a credible candidate a chance to oust this current president, the president's men, because president cannot say he's not aware of what Nyesom Wike is doing. He's very much aware of it, so he's part of it. Now came into the PDP to destabilize the party. But that has succeeded in probably making us lose the number of governors that we have and all of that, or that we had, and then possibly also Peter Obi. If you recall, Peter Obi delayed his membership to ADC. The plot was PDP. That was the engagement, okay, right? But these people did everything to ensure that there is confusion in the party. And because he's a politician who wants to contest for 2027, he has moved to the ADC and all of that. However, no political party to sack Tinubu, no opposition party can do it alone. There's a need for all the opposition parties to come together and see that we are faced with a common oppressor, and then so that we can help salvage our country.
So you're calling for a coalition?
Not just the real coalition is not such as happening as they did with individuals coming together. Coalition ought to be by the political parties. Right. You understand me? So and that has been my position.
So you think that is going to like create a solid?
That is the best way to oust this president.
All right, Mazi.
Because this president is not a master strategist, he's a master poacher. And that's why the poaching has destabilized. It's not just PDP alone that is in crisis. LP was in crisis until Peter Obi left. They threatened the governor of Abia State and said, as long as Peter Obi is there, that they are going to destabilize, ensure that LP doesn't come.
Who threatened the government?
The government of the day, the federal government. Listen, these things you're seeing is not alien. I said Peter Obi, the government of the day is directly involved in this destabilization that is happening in political parties.
Okay, Mazi, let's move on from there now. Now, I know he asked a question about PDP being on the ballot.
On the ballot, and I've said yes, it's going to be on the ballot.
It's going to be on the ballot, but I'm questioning that, and
I'm contesting, by the way.
I'm questioning that, and I'm giving you a reason.
And under PDP.
I'm giving you a reason why I'm contesting that. First off, the INEC has already released a timetable,
yes.
right? That is already unfolding. That is already unfolding.
Yes.
So at this point, prolonged litigation is dangerous for the PDP, because are they going to be able to meet up with the timelines that INEC has already set in place? What plans does PDP have to mitigate this?
Let me answer that
one.
quickly.
Hold on, that's one. Okay. Secondly, you already talked about the internal party structure being collapsed, first of all. And the court, the court has already upheld the suspension of the Wike faction or bloc or whatever you'd like to call it, which means that right now there is no, we don't have a very specified leadership structure for the PDP. And if you don't have that structure, you will most likely not be able to meet up with the timelines for INEC. How do you plan to mitigate this? Because there's already a shortfall.
Okay, thank you very much. First, PDP is not, as an organization, is made up of people. Okay. And there are structures put in place to ensure that the organization runs. Okay. Moments like this, the conscience of the party ought to step in. Okay. The conscience of the party are members of the Board of Trustees. They ought to step in and take ownership of the party, and then put possibly a well-constituted caretaker committee. That is when a caretaker committee can come up. That's an option while we are going to the Supreme Court. And the Board of Trustees can decide that that caretaker committee can still be Katie Turaki SAN, and nobody will counter that. You know, so we have our internal ways of putting the leadership together, and that will be done. So are we not aware of INEC's timetable? Of course, we're very much aware of it. We're very much aware that between now and 30th of May, primaries ought to have been concluded. Okay. So be rest assured that PDP, in fact, I was part of the meeting yesterday that we had with the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum yesterday, Governor Bala Mohammed, and all of that. And by 3 o'clock today, the BOT will be meeting. Okay. And at that meeting, certain decisions will be taken, and it will be made public eventually after the meeting by 3 o'clock. Okay. So the machinery is already being put in place to ensure that we meet up, because PDP was set up as a political party, not as a company or a church or a mosque. So, and our primary aim is to contest election. I'm contesting for House of Reps under the People's Democratic Party. And it's unfortunate that the likes of us who mean well, who want to come on board and help change the narrative about our country, that they are destabilizing the platform that we have embraced. It's unfortunate. And that's why I said to you, watch the body language of those who say they are members of the party, who you call faction. What are they excited about that PDP is being disrupted? If they are excited that PDP as a party is being disrupted, then ask yourself, are they truly members of the PDP? And I will answer quickly that they are not members of the PDP, because holding on to, I insist that we as members of the party haven't fulfilled the provisions of the law, both our Constitution and the Electoral Act. We had a convention, and at that convention, we expelled the group of people that you're calling today faction members of the party. They are not members of our party. They've been expelled. And for the first time, we were issued expulsion certificates. It was made public so that we stop. Why we did that expulsion certificate availability, so that people can stop arguing whether these people are members of PDP or not. It's in the public. If you Google it, it's there. The 11 of them, the names were given this, their certificates was given to them. And that's the first time any political party will give expelled members of their party an expulsion certificate.
All right, Mazi.
So we have done what we should do as a party.
All right. Now, just yesterday, the FCC minister referred to the ruling of the appellate court as a victory for the who? Supreme, for the rule of law.
Him.
As a victory for the rule of law, basically. And he called for reconciliation rather than an escalation, you know, to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Would there be room for reconciliation right now between members of the PDP?
A political party, politics is a give and take affair, right? It's not. Nothing is cast in stone. You don't hold on to any edge rigidly. However, if reconciliation will mean our reconciling to support a government that has brought affliction on the Nigerian people, we will not be part of it. If reconciliation will mean the continuation of these ruins as we are faced with in the country, we will not be part of it. But of course, reconciliation, is it available? Haven't made mistakes from their end, if they realize that they have made a mistake, then if they have realized it, then they should come to the table with clean hands. Because they say if you want to come to equity, you must come with clean hands. They should come with clean. There's nothing else that is the squabble. The squabble with their camp is simply that we don't agree to what they are saying, that the PDP should not produce a presidential candidate. That's what the issue, that's what all of these squabbles you're seeing, the litigations and all of that, the expulsion or suspension, and all, it all came from this position that we have taken. Okay. That as having held sway in Nigeria for 16 years, governing Nigeria, and seeing the party we handed over to ruin everything that we built, that the best we can do is, as a political party, come back and help salvage our country. So and these people are saying no, that they want the status quo to be sustained, and we are saying no. So if Nyesom Wike is saying we should reconcile and form unity in that direction of whatever he believes in about himself and Tinubu, we are not part of that, and we will not be part of it.
Let's take it back again to 2023, where all of the issues started.
Yes, with 2015, actually. 2015, that's when the issue of PDP started.
But again, I think it was more pronounced in 2023 with the formation.
The rascality was highlighted. Okay, 2023.
Using your words.
Yeah.
Of course, with the formation of the G5 governors. Makinde himself was part of that G5 governors, right? Nyesom Wike was part of that, and about 3 other governors were part of it, right? And again, from 2023 up until now, reports has it that over 66 members of the PDP have defected to the APC. I mean,
66?
Over 66 members, right, of the PDP. I mean, some of them occupy a position in the National Assembly and various other governors. In fact, very recently, as yesterday, Zamfara State government, a governor and his deputy defected from the PDP than to the APC, which, like I stated earlier on, has not given the APC.
He leaves you with about just
31,
2 governors.
32, yeah, we have 2 governors.
Two governors, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, so the APC has 31
and how many
governors.
does ADC have?
So basically,
it's a coalition. It's not a competition. You say you are the biggest.
It's a competition. Come on, all the political parties are competing.
You say you are the biggest party.
Yes,
right?
I know. It was a sarcastic question I asked you because people refer to ADC as now the main opposition party and then call PDP as dead. And I said, how many does ADC have?
Mazi, in this conversation today,
yes,
we have never said the ADC.
No, I say you people. I'm talking about the media.
When you say you people, you also
generalize. The media. You people both of you can be referred to as standing in for all the media practitioners in Nigeria here.
But
here now.
But however, you wouldn't say you people if we want to be specific, basically.
Okay, great.
Right.
Okay.
But take it back. Thank you. Now, again, going back to the structure of your party, because you said you have structure, as it is.
Yes. We have the people with us.
You have the people with it. Who are the people that are with you?
The Nigerian people. First, by its name, it's called the People's Democratic Party.
So
by its motto, it is power to the people. And by the experience of our being in government for 16 years, the Nigerian people can attest to the difference. That lives were better, human value was better under our watch as a political party than what Nigerians are experiencing now. Or do you prefer that this government or the APC government, since they came in 2015, continue with the ruins, or would you rather we save our country? For instance, PDP left, the economy we left behind was about 555 billion US dollars. That's US dollars. That's what we handed over to APC in 2015. About 555 billion US dollars. We were #1 growing economy in Africa when we handed over to APC. All of that has been ruined. Since APC came to power in 2015, every day, not less than 100 lives, citizens of Nigeria, not less than 100. Do your statistics research and all of that. You will see that not less than 100 every day are slaughtered. We cannot continue like that. That is why we're saying that we will not be part of the Nyesom Wike group that wants a sustenance of this evil that befell the country.
Mazi, we acknowledge the insecurity going on in our country, Nigeria.
And the economic hardship.
Yes, we acknowledge that.
Yes.
However, going back to the structure and 2015, 2023 up until now, now the people that are in the APC were also once members of the PDP.
Some people, not all of them.
Some people, again, very recent.
Tinubu has never been a member of PDP.
That's one person out of the many.
At least that makes it some people.
Yeah, good. We agree to some people. Let's not argue on that.
Yes.
We're talking about the fact that many persons, again, from the PDP, defected to the APC and they are now part of the APC government.
Yes.
With that brings me to the question, these are individuals which you stated that your party is about people. Now these are the same people that have left the PDP to the APC working with this particular administration that you accuse of bringing the country's economy backwards. What then is the guarantee, again, that if eventually, that even the PDP that you're saying right now gets down to the ballot and eventually wins the election, what is the guarantee that you have what it takes to take Nigerians out of the economic hardship that you've said that we are in right now?
Okay, good.
To a better position where we are.
Very fair question, and I will answer gladly. First, PDP as a platform is clearly more like a platform that builds champions. For instance, the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, who is now the Senate president, was referred to as the uncommon governor while he was PDP governor. Nyesom Wike, all his performances, both as former local government chairman, as former governor, and as former minister for education, you could attest to what he achieved under the PDP. Most of those who are in APC that you refer to today, that gives credence to APC, you can see that their achievements that give them whatever champion position they occupy today is when they were in the PDP. So PDP creates the enabling environment because our mission is not just to capture power like the APC. APC, when they were campaigning in 2014, their mission was simply to capture power. When they captured power, they bungled everything that we left with them. They couldn't do anything.
Ideology?
Sorry?
What's the ideology of the PDP?
Power to the people.
That's your motto.
That's our ideology.
What does power to the people mean?
What it simply means is that you should have economic strength. That what it simply means is that government, governance responsibility, which ought to be that the provision of welfare and security of the people, all of those things are available for you. What it means is that you cannot be in a state of the way we find ourselves in Nigeria today, where we are being balkanized along ethnic and religious lines. And PDP couldn't have produced in a secular state like Nigeria a Muslim ticket. We are sensitive enough to appreciate that this place called Nigeria, that all interests matter, and not just because a group of people are in power. We are opposite, complete opposite to what APC represents.
All right, Mazi, thank you so much.
So you can't compare us at all. You cannot.
Right. Thank you so much for your time. We really wanted to, even get deeper into this conversation, but of course we're pressed for time. We'll have to let you go. Once again, thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mazi, for joining us on the conversation today.
Well, we've been talking with Mazi Nnamdi Dickson Iroegbu, a PDP chieftain, and he's been talking to us about the PDP crisis, and again, the judgment that was upheld by the appeal court yesterday. He has, however, also stated and reiterated that the PDP will be heading to the Supreme Court. And of course, after that, we'll also get to see the judgment by the Supreme Court. And then we can also, as well, have the conversation. We do hope to bring him back, maybe other PDP members, to talk about the judgment
extremely
of the
complicated. Talk about the extremely complicated triangle that exists within
the PDP.
The PDP. And it's very... It should be resolved on time. Otherwise, I think they don't stand a chance at the ballot, because there are timelines that should be followed. We are already getting into mid-March, April, and in May they have to provide or produce a candidate, run the primaries and what have you. And if the party still experiences this level of internal crisis, what then is the hope that they will have a structure enough to be solid contenders during the 2027 elections? These are questions we hope will be answered by the PDP in the coming days.
And of course, we'll keep you updated as this information unfold. However, this is all we're going to be taking on this on today's edition of the Rapid. Do remember that you can follow us through our social media pages across our platforms at Rapid TV. And you can get to rewatch all our episodes on our YouTube platform, which is at Official Rapid TV. And not to worry, wherever you are in the world, you can watch us live using our website at www.arabianradiotv.com. My name is Victor. Okay.
And my name is Martha Alu. We'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow.